and yeah, definitely feel for Colin because it would definitely be his last Lions series because he's had a phenomenal.
Never say never, man. Never say never. It'll be on the
You
one in
never know
4
with
years.
him. Yeah.
You never know with him.
The next one, I don't know what I'll do. I'll take my hat off to him.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of RugbyPass Offload, where Jamie Roberts and I are delighted to be joined by Springboks superstar Cheslin Kolbe. Welcome to the show, Cheslin.
Hi, Christina, Jamie, everyone. Good to be chatting to you guys on Rugby Podcast, and yeah, just look forward to having a good time with you guys.
Good stuff. How are you both getting on?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Sorry, nothing much to report. Been up in Edinburgh, working on the Lions game. That was good. Setting the scene, ready for the tour. I just want to ask Cheslin Kolbe, is he over his hangover yet? Because what an amazing, amazing few months you've had, mate, with a double back in Europe. Talk us through it.
Hey, my brother. A bit over the hangover now. I had about 2 days of celebrating with the boys, and man, I think just getting the double is not every player that gets to do that. And yeah, for me, getting to France within my 4th year and getting to experience such an amazing journey with Toulouse is obviously fantastic, and hopefully we can just continue to build up on where we left on this season. I think we definitely a special group of players, but yeah, I didn't get to celebrate as much as I would love to with the boys. I think they're still going.
Yeah, probably. What was it like to play La Rochelle twice? Because I thought that must be a bit weird. You play them in the European final, and then a few weeks later have to play them in the top 14 final.
Yes, I think, yeah, obviously La Rochelle's a phenomenal team, a team with a lot of good players, and I think they're just a physical bunch of boys. But I must say the preparation and that was quite intense. Like, we had early mornings, we had to come in where you wouldn't normally have that meetings for both finals. I think, yeah, the boys were just happy to put in that 1%ers that obviously helped us win the Rugby Championship and then also topping it off with the top 14. So I think, yeah, preparing for them was a lot of hard work because of the good quality players they have, and for us to make sure that we go into both those finals well prepared and hopefully come away with the wins as we did. So yeah, it was definitely amazing. I wouldn't mind doing that hard work as long as the results pay off as well.
Well, they don't always pay off, but any stories from the celebrations for us, or are you keeping that under?
Yeah, you have to give us something now. I know I saw you guys all, you had a beach party or something? That looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I think one thing the boys looked forward to this time of the top 14 was everybody getting those snow glasses to celebrate with champagne. I think that was a bit of fun, but I think also a bit weird because you didn't want to get ahead of yourself, obviously, because what happens if you lose, the whole vibe will just be completely different. And yeah, I think missing out on the boys going to the beach was a bit of a bummer for me, to be honest, because I missed out on the Champions Cup final too. But yeah, as long as the boys had fun, I think they definitely deserve each and every bit of that, because it's been a long season firstly, and just mentally, physically just to get out there and just express themselves, enjoy themselves, whatever they want to do.
Now, in that game, you scored one of the most insane drop goals in the history of rugby, and on what a stage to do it. So can you please take us through your memories of how that all unfolded?
I'm so jealous of this, by the way, Cheslin. I promised myself before I retire from the game, I want to score a drop goal. Mate, how dare you do it in a top 14 final from 50 meters?
It was the slickest thing I have ever seen. Yeah. You just seemed so composed. It was just so cool.
No, I think the whole build-up through the week was just getting points on the board and wherever that's from. And yeah, I've been doing some drops with Roman, Antoine, and Thomas Ramos. Those are the main kickers in the team. And I just obviously just joined up with them, had fun. We had little competitions where we would say if you get 3 kicks, if you miss all 3 of them, whoever does the worst has to either get breakfast or get something. So we just had a bit of competition and just fun at the same time. And I told them that yeah, I'll try and get a drop kick hopefully in the final. And man, to be honest, in the moment, like, I never thought of it. I just stood back in the pocket because I just wanted to keep La Rochelle putting in the off and make sure that we keep them under the pump. And whether I get the drop kick, if I get it over, it will obviously be a bonus. And I just kicked the ball. But the moment I struck it, I could just feel on my foot, like it was so soft and smooth. And I just looked up and it was like continuously going towards the post. And literally the last probably few meters, it just swerved in. And I just felt so delighted and couldn't wait for after the match if we won and just tell them that I told you I would do this.
Were any of the lads laughing? Because like if I was on your team and he did that, I would just be looking around and laughing at all the other lads. But obviously it's dead serious in the moment. But any of the lads find it funny?
I think they were all surprised because there's one photo where I kicked it, a few other boys up in front of me and just looking at me. And some of them were just turned around, looked at the post and just with their hands up, because throughout the week I've been like literally kicking them all over the show, like left, right, all over, like, and to be doing something like that in the final, I couldn't imagine what was going through their heads. Like, is this guy really serious by doing this because of what the way he has been kicking throughout the week? So yeah, it just shows you, like, if you put in that extra bit, even if you're having fun, like sometimes it definitely does pay off. And for me, it paid off in that final. And man, I'm really glad it did as well, because I can celebrate it with the team, and obviously I contributed my part as well within that final.
Yeah, awesome. Is Rassi going to let you do drop goals, mate?
Yes, I'm not too sure about that. I definitely check to him, and yeah, but it's fine for me.
Don't ask the question. Don't ask the question.
Oh God. Well, now tell me, you've managed to play alongside some of the most gifted players in rugby. So I'd like to know, can you give us an insight as to where Dupont stands on that list?
He's definitely right up there. One of the most talented players I've played with. I think he can do whatever you ask of him. Like, one thing that's funny, like whenever people ask me about him, is like the first thing I'll say, like, if you have to look at his preparation throughout the week, he's not a player that loves gymming. And on the field, he's just naturally like strong and gifted. And the only thing he does is he just does score. And I always tell like some of the guys, just watch this guy. All he does is just does score, or he does a bit of rehab. But once he gets onto the field, like, he bumps off like forward, like front row players, background players, just makes him like, it makes it look so easy. So he's definitely one of the gifted players. I haven't seen or played with someone as talented as him, and down to earth as well. I think we're quite lucky to have a player like him in Toulouse, where he can obviously showcase his talent and obviously help us as a team keep going forward.
And do you think now, in your opinion, is he the greatest scrum half in the world, or is there someone else that you would kind of give that title to?
Yes, you got a guy like Aaron Smith that's been unbelievable over the years and still in great form. You got guys like Faf de Klerk as well that I've played with, obviously at the Springboks, which is a phenomenal player too. But if you have to look at it currently, I would definitely go with Antoine. The way he's performed with the French team, whenever he's got back to the club, he's always had phenomenal moments within the game, making something out of nothing, and obviously scoring those great support running line tries. And yeah, I think at the moment I'll definitely go with Antoine. He totally deserves it. And yeah, I think guys like Faf and Aaron could also be up there too.
Cheslin, do you think now, has playing in Europe changed or improved your game?
I would say a bit of both. To be honest, at the Stormers, I had a lot of fun, but also had a lot of critics at the same time. But moving up to France, I could just be myself. I wouldn't be criticized for everything I do on the field, which obviously made me a bit at ease and more comfortable. But I've learned so much.
Cheslin, can I just jump in there? What were your critics in Western Province or Stormers? Talk to us a bit more about that when you reflect. Yeah. What were your critics? What were you getting criticised for?
Yeah, obviously, firstly, not being one of the biggest boys, being too small. So whenever I would miss a tackle, or I would do something, or have like just a general mistake, or on an eye ball or miss ball, like I would just be criticised each and every weekend on that by people telling me, or media just going on the wagon by saying, I told you so, you wouldn't make it because he's not big enough. He's not strong enough to perform at this level. And that was like the challenge I had to fight each and every weekend, basically. But to be honest, it made me stronger. It made me a better person and a better player. But I think moving up to Europe, it's a decision I'll never regret, even though I never wanted to leave Cape Town and the Stormers at that time, because Jamie, I'm sure you know how lovely this city is. But getting to France with Toulouse, man, I just felt so welcome since myself and my family arrived there. Like everybody made it so easy. The coaches just wanted the best for me and just told me, listen, go out, enjoy yourself, and let's see what you can do. And man, that's what I want. That's what I strive for, just to be myself, have the freedom to do what I want to do. And man, yeah, I've definitely adapted quite well and enjoying my rugby and my lifestyle in France, to be honest with you guys.
That's awesome that you've defied the critics, not just in Toulouse, but then with the box as well. And so you'd have media on your back in Cape Town, whatever. You know, rugby's a game for all shapes and sizes. We've seen that. I played a long time with Shane Williams, and he had the same critics early in his career, and he defied them by being, one of the greatest players that's ever played the game, no doubt. But do you know what I love is that then you've gone and won a Rugby World Cup with the box, doing what you do. That must have felt pretty sweet, man.
No, 100%. I think I spoke to Shane Williams a few times as well, just regarding like the fighting of like small players and all the critics that comes with it. I think this game is definitely shaped for all players. It just depends on what your special talent is and what you can contribute to the team. Because once you can contribute, teams will definitely love you and obviously allow you to be yourself. So which is more important for us as small players? Like you just want to be yourself and not focus on the negativity. But yeah, for me, the most exciting thing was obviously getting my test call up with the Springboks after 6-7 years at the Stormers, where coaches told me, yeah, it's either I'm going to have to make a positional switch to hopefully try and get to a Springbok call up. And once I got that call up in 2018, the first thing I thought of was all the hard work I've obviously done and put in, and all the coaches that doubted me in the past by saying that I have to either make a positional switch or consider playing or doing something different towards my game. So yeah, that was just a bit of like relief off my shoulders, being part of a World Cup group, and on top of that, scoring and winning it in 2019, just to show them like, listen, no matter what you say and what I believe in, I can definitely show what I was blessed with.
But Cheslin, you kind of touched off it there, because there was a time when you were out of favour in South Africa. And if Rassie never called, you could have actually eventually qualified for France on residency. So do you ever kind of look back and think how different your life would have been if you were, given the opportunity to play for France?
To be honest with you, growing up as a kid, all you want to do is wear that Springbok jersey. And that's always been my dream and my goal. Even when I left to France, like I worked towards hopefully getting that opportunity to represent my country. And that's always something that I wanted. I never thought of, if I'm going to be longer in France, that I would hopefully be up for selection for the French team. But I'm actually glad that I actually got the call up from the Springboks, because that's what I always wanted and always worked for. And that just shows you that whenever there's new management or new coaches taking over, they can swap and change all the rules of selection and that. And I'm just glad that they took note of me and got to see what I did up in Europe. And yeah, just glad I got the opportunity, to be honest. There.
And I know from playing in France, you've been given several opportunities to play a fly half. So is that something that you would like to, is that a position you'd like to, spend more time playing in? I
would definitely love playing more at fly half, because it allows yourself to obviously be more involved in the game. But I think in France, it's a bit of a challenge because of not just the language, like it's a lot of pressure to think on the spot, especially in French, because you have to give direction to the whole team. But the few times I've played there, I've definitely enjoyed it. I can speak a little bit of French, so that definitely helps me a bit. So yeah, I would definitely, wherever the team needs me, to be honest, I'm more than happy to contribute wherever I can. As long as I can get opportunities to keep playing each and every week, and I'm gladly to do that wherever I can have a positive impact on the game and a positive influence towards the team too.
Now, we will move on to South Africa. Unfortunately, now we have heard a lot of the media have said that the country is actually going to be forced back into lockdown. And there's also been some positive COVID cases in your camp. So can you give us an update on the situation over there?
Yeah, it's actually in Cape Town, it's level 4, which is almost basically complete lockdown. Like you're allowed to like go to the shops and get a few things, but you have to be home by 9 o'clock the evening. So yeah, to be honest, I'm actually quite tired of lockdown because we were in lockdown for quite a long time in France, and coming back to South Africa where you have a bit of holiday before joining up with the box, you definitely just want to have fun and just get out and enjoy time with the family. But yeah, it's all strange times we're living in and things we just have to adapt to with whatever happens. And yeah, COVID has definitely increased within the whole of South Africa. I think Johannesburg, Cape Town is definitely up there in terms of the numbers, which is actually a bit scary because whenever I speak to people, whenever I hear anything on the news, it's like just be safe because you just hear people like passing away or due to COVID and the virus. So it's actually scary. Like people are so cautious this side, but for some other reason the numbers are just keep on increasing. And yeah, apparently there's been three positive cases within the Bok camp, but I think doing their second testing they're all cleared. So that's definitely good news for the Springboks because obviously allows us to keep preparing for the up and coming 2 tests against Georgia and then leading up to the Lions series, because yeah, I'm sure the coaches are all panicking because of players that gets off on weekends getting to see their families before we go into the hard bubble whenever the tour starts. So yeah, I think there's a bit of scary moments whenever players do come back after weekends because of them obviously traveling a bit whenever they get home. So I'm sure they can't wait for us to get into the hard bubble to make sure that everybody's safe in the hotel.
Cheslin, where does playing against the Lions rank for a South African?
Comparing it to the World Cup, yes, it's difficult to say because it happens only every 12 years. I haven't been part of it. I've got to watch not a few of the games. I just see the experience back in 2009, the atmosphere with the Lions, obviously, and their supporters coming down to South Africa, and South Africa just going crazy and supporting the Springboks. So I would definitely say not far off from the World Cup because I've been part of that. I can only say once the series starts that which one would definitely be best. I think which is going to be a bit strange is the atmosphere won't be the same definitely because we're not allowed to have the supporters back in the stadium. So that's going to be a big difference. But yeah, as I said in the beginning, we just have to control what we can control and just make the best out of the worst situations. And I'm just glad that the series is going ahead because there's been a lot of talks that it might be postponed, it might be cancelled, or we might be either playing in the UK or in Australia. And yeah, I'm just glad it's back in South Africa, and just a pity we don't have supporters to make it more special.
Well, I'll ask you that question again after you've played on the tour, and then we can compare that or the World Cup. But now, the Lions did have their first outing against Japan on Saturday, and although they won, they lost their captain, Alwyn Jones, who was getting a bit of abuse by the South African press. They were calling him, a couple of names, calling him an old age pensioner, et cetera, et cetera. But for you guys in camp now, how big a victory is that, knowing that they'll be without their leader or their original leader?
Yeah, you obviously first you don't wish any player injury. Obviously, leading up to a series like this, just shows you that this game you have to enjoy it while you can because you never know what can happen. And yeah, definitely feel for Valentine because it would definitely be his last Lions series because he's had a phenomenal.
Never say never, man. Never say never. It'll be on the
You
one in
never know
4
with
years.
him. Yeah.
You never know with him.
I don't know what I'll do. I'll take my hat off to him. But yeah, he's had an amazing career, and for a player like that to get injured in a warm-up game against Japan, definitely feel for him. I'm sure that's not the way he probably would have wanted to end. I'm not sure what the update is on his injury, if he's completely out for the series or not, but for his sake, I hope that he can still recover from that. For us as the Springboks, definitely a bit of a win because they're losing quite an experienced player, a good player that obviously gets a team together really well. But yeah, hopefully get to see him back on the field soon and hopefully still part of the Lions series.
Now, the new captain, Conor Murray, were you guys surprised to see that he was given the captain's armband by Gatland?
I wouldn't say I was surprised because obviously getting to see what he's done with Munster, with Ireland. He's always had great leadership skills, but I'm sure that they'll definitely have a good core of players that will definitely help him as well in that certain role. But he's, the player and that I've seen or played against him in the Championship Cup is definitely a cool, calm and collective player. He's just so relaxed, and I'm sure that's what a team needs, especially within a captain, to keep the whole team calm as possible. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how he goes as captain and the whole team too.
I agree with that, Christina. Yeah. I think it's a really, really good decision as captain. Like Cheslin mentioned,
is that who you would have chosen though?
Oh, I'm not coach of the Lions, Christina. I'm yeah, there are so many natural leaders there, aren't there? We've spoken Ken Owens, Owen Farrell, these sorts of guys who probably many fans would have assumed would take that role. But I think Conor Murray is a really, really smart choice because he's very relaxed. He is Mr. Cool personified, isn't he? He's kind of horizontal in that respect, but he backs himself. He's a top quality operator in the heat of the battle. We've seen him perform at a top level, not just in the rugby, the European Cup, as Cheslin mentioned, but at Lions level as well. This will be his third tour, but he can let all those other leaders come into that space. Your Owens, your Maros, your Kens. They can do the big speeches. I can't picture Conor Murray standing there in front of a group revving the lads up. He's not that sort of guy, but he'll allow those others into that space, and I think it'll also allow those other lads I've mentioned, allow them not to be burdened with the captaincy. Conor, he's been there, done it. He's very chilled, very relaxed guy, and he's happy. I think he'll be great. I think he'll be great with that burden of captaincy, and he'll relish in it. And the one thing I haven't mentioned is his kicking game. I think the Lions, if they're going to have any chance of winning against you lads, Cheslin, it's their kicking game. And Conor's the best operator in Europe at 9 for me, with the way he kicks the ball and manages game. So, yeah, smart choice for me.
All right. Well, now, Cheslin, the last time you played against Conor was when you knocked Munster out of the European Cup earlier this season. But I think the biggest talking point of that day was you after the game walking around Thomond Park with a rubbish bag, clearing up the pitch. So is this something that you always do after a game, or, why did you decide to do it on this particular occasion?
Yeah, I think I was just at the right place at the right time, to be honest with you. I had a few chat and a beer or two with a few other South African boys and just headed back to the locker room and obviously just passed a few of the water bottles and strapping that was on the field, and literally had a bag in my hand as well and just picked it up. Like, I never had any thought about it. It's also probably the way I've been raised. Like, whenever you see things on the floor, like, it doesn't take a lot to just pick it up and throw it into the rubbish. Like, if we all can do that, I think we can keep this whole world clean. But yeah, like, to be honest, I haven't like thought of anything like that. There's been no media rampage about it as well. Like, man, it's just human. Like, it's just normal. I think to whenever you see things lie around, like, just pick it up and put it where it belongs.
Yeah, I think you definitely softened the blow with the Irish media for kicking Munster out of the Europeans by doing that afterwards. You did your good deed, so you kind of earned
he was just disgraced at the state of Thomond Park.
Right, so on to the fact that the Boks haven't played as a team since you won the World Cup in 2019. And I know that you're facing Georgia this weekend, but do you see that lack of game time together as a massive disadvantage, or do you think it'll actually inspire you guys to come together even more?
I think it will definitely inspire us to get closer together. I think the excitement within the camp, obviously with just chatting to a few of the players, like, they're so excited to just be part of the environment and the culture again after so long. And I think it's going to be quite exciting to see how the boys go this coming weekend. But I can definitely guarantee you that there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of new faces that also wants to prove a point and show the coaches that what they can do and what they can contribute to the team. So I would say it's more of inspiration to the whole group that we haven't been so long together than being a disadvantage. I think game time might be a bit of a disadvantage leading up into the Lions series, but I'm sure once the boys put in all the hard work during training, and once you pull over that jersey, like you give everything for that jersey because of not just the respect people ask for it. I think you just respect those that's been there before you as well, and just try and leave your own legacy within that jersey too. So yeah, there's definitely a lot to play for, and I'm excited, and I can guarantee you the whole squad is too, and the management as well.
Cheslin, what about playing at altitude? Now, do you think, you South Africans, I've played in Johannesburg and Pretoria, and it's the most savage. It can be brutal playing at altitude. That first test has now moved to Cape Town, and I don't think people are making enough of this. I think it's a huge positive for the Lions that first test is at sea level rather than being, because it was meant to be Joburg, Cape Town, Joburg. And obviously they changed it now to Cape Town, Joburg, Joburg. There's chat now that it might actually all go to Cape Town because of the COVID situation in Gauteng. So for you, how when you receive teams to South Africa, how confident are you when you play at altitude that gives you an advantage as Springboks?
Jamie, I'm sure you had a few moments there as well. Like you'll know how it feels like. I think for us as South Africans, like I don't think we can get used to it as well. Like it's really that intense. Like I know whenever teams come down to obviously play in Joburg, like that's one of the positive things for us because we have a bit of an advantage of the training we do get at altitude. But I'm sure like for teams coming to visit or play South Africa up in Joburg, like the first thing you try and do is you just try and blow yourself out the first few minutes so that your legs and your lungs can just get used to it a bit. But there's so many teams that try doing that, like you just fall out some other way. And for us, we just somehow just keep going. That's definitely, I think, the first test being in Cape Town is definitely, I think, a good thing. I think for the Lions,
good thing for who? For the Lions or you guys?
They probably would have wanted as well to have it down closer to sea level because it would definitely make it, I would say, even in terms of getting that first game behind both teams. So yeah, there is talks about everything maybe moving down to Cape Town because of COVID being as bad as it is in Johannesburg. So yeah, we definitely see how that goes. And for us, we just have to keep doing what we do, just prepare as well as we can and make sure that we're in good shape whenever the series does commence. I know that the Lions boys has trained at altitude as well, apparently back in the UK. So and I think they're well prepared.
Yeah. They wear the masks, mate. It's not quite the same, but they have the masks, altitude masks on the watt bikes.
Jimmy, is that not part of the South African experience, is actually playing a game as a Lion at altitude and just, separating the men from the boys? And
well, it's not so much separating the men from the boys. It's like, right, can you hack it? And Cheslin is bang on, actually. Whenever I've played at altitude, I've always strived to find my second wind in the warm-up. I'm just like, right, this warm-up has got to be the most intense warm-up I've ever done. Because if you don't, you find yourself come minute 20, 30, absolutely hanging on for dear life. And yeah, it's an amazing experience, whether that's Bloemfontein or Pretoria, Loftus or Ellis Park in Johannesburg. These are all venues the Lions are hopefully going to play at. But it's unique. It's unique in anything else you'll kind of experience in rugby. So I'm excited for those opening matches, actually. The Lions are playing. They're opening against the Lions in Johannesburg on Saturday. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they approach. I'm going to watch them in the warm-up and see how hard they go in the warm-up.
See if anybody's been listening to this podcast, Jamie, and taking your advice now.
Well, yeah, it's probably wrong.
Well, you never know. Now, Cheslin, you've obviously got a great taste for European rugby at this point. So who will you be telling your teammates to keep an eye out for on this series? Who do you think are the danger men in the Lions squad?
Yes, I can name a few boys within that group that's dangerous. I think the overall squad that's been selected is boys that are quite physical and boys that can run with the ball as well. So in general, I would say it's a very, very good team. Like, I think they have a good balance between physicality and also giving the ball some air. But a guy that I'm quite excited about is a fellow South African, Duan van der Merwe. Unbelievable player. Like, whenever he gets the ball and there's space, like there's one thing coming, and that's only trouble. So definitely looking forward to how he goes, and just also excited for him because of the journey that he has gone by to make it into his professional career. Like for South African to go overseas, play for Scotland, getting a call up to the Lions, like that's massive. And yeah, take my hat off to him and just wish him all the best, and obviously wish him all the best too. So yeah, I don't want to single out too many players, but I'm definitely keen to see how he does.
Well, I'm hoping you're going to single out 3 more players for me here, because I would like to know, if you could pick 3 Lions players to play for the Boks, who would you choose and why?
Christina, you can't ask him that a week before the tour. That's brutal. His teammates will be on his back. Whoever he replaces in the Boks team, we're going to go absolutely nuts with him.
Well, you can add them. You can add them into the extended squad then. Who would you like as an ally on your squad?
Wow, I might get a few moments with the boys whenever I join up in camp. I think me have a good think about this. I think Mario would definitely be a good player to have. Just the way he plays the game. Although you have great players like Itzebeth, or just naming them, I think they can definitely play well together too. And then Liam Williams as well.
Welshman.
Nice.
Just a bit of the X factor that he can bring towards the team. Definitely, he could be part of the Springboks as well.
Add them to the squad, not the team.
Yeah,
add them to the squad.
They'll slot in nicely with the Springboks.
Yeah.
Now, this weekend, as Jamie did touch off, the Lions are due to come up against the Emirates Lions this weekend. So they beat your old team, Western Province, at the weekend, did they?
Yeah, they've beaten them up in Johannesburg, yeah.
So tell me now, what are your predictions for how this game is going to pan out?
Just to be honest, whenever you play the Lions, you don't know what they're going to bring on the day. I know they're quite a young group currently, but I think just the brand that the Lions plays it's a running game, and especially playing up in Johannesburg. It's going to be exciting to see the game, and yeah, but I don't know. I think with all the experience, all the obviously international players within the Lions group, I think they'll definitely have the upper hand on the game. And for them, it's obviously about just getting certain positions and trying out new things before the series obviously starts. So I'm sure they'll give it a good crack, and sure the Lions from South Africa too. They'll give it everything to try and get a win out of it too. Yeah.
Jamie, what you reckon? Because actually we did now for Cheslin for the first test or the warm-up game, we did score predictions last week, and our co-host Ryan Wilson got it bang on. So Jamie, if you to give me a score prediction now for this Saturday's game, what are you going to go with?
I think the Lions, the British and Irish Lions, will be too strong for all the provincial teams. They're kind of an echo of 2009, really. We went into that first test really confident off the back of, we were unbeaten on the tour thus far, but there were no Springboks involved in those teams. So, and that's going to be the same this year, 100%, because of the biosecure bubble and etc., and because of the situation with COVID. So there's going to be no go between the squads. Maybe someone plays really well for the Emirates Lions. They won't get a call up to the Boks because of the way that the COVID situation is working. So, yeah, I just think the British and Irish Lions will be way too strong, too much experience. Yes, the first half, 60 minutes will be really competitive, but I just can't see how they're going to get beaten by the provincial teams with the quality in the squad. So this weekend, I'm going to go 43-20.
20 is still a lot. 20 is still a high
Yeah,
number.
I look at they play, and Cheslin spoke about that. The Lions, they play in Johannesburg, and they'll have a few tricks up the sleeve, no doubt. They might catch the Lions and away. Look, I watched the Lions up in Murrayfield. You know, Japan played really well, and they didn't convert their pressure to points. So they actually went in with nil at half time, and it's just thinking, geez, you know, they played some really good attacking stuff. So no doubt that the Emirates Lions will watch that game and spot a few supposed weaknesses in the Lions' defence. You know, I think the Lions defensively probably need to sharpen up now over the next few months after that Japan hit out.
Now, you have got one of the greatest sidesteps in World Rugby, but I heard there was a story about how you developed that sidestep by running around the kitchen. So can you fill us in on this?
Yes, thanks for that comment. Just having fun as a kid, playing touch rugby bare feet, just doing all kind of tricks with my friends at a young age. I think definitely played a big part of the way I've been going about the game, and blessed with some amazing feet. Yeah, the way I've like visioned myself whenever I was in the house, like I'd run around with either a blown up balloon or a pillow or a teddy or something, and making like that's a rugby ball, and just either like sidestep into one of the rooms, the bathrooms, into the kitchen. Like I would just always like run, be sidestepping, trying something out, and I think that's where everything obviously started, and things I think paid off for me. And I just think it became like a natural habit for me to obviously try and do whenever I do play the game, to try and step and create something out of nothing. So yeah, definitely obviously trying to make the most out of what I can on the field, and obviously exploit opportunities too, by showing the world what I've been blessed with, and obviously trying to inspire a lot of young kids, and in terms of giving them hope, and hopefully they can just be better off than what I am.
Now, we have to talk about the World Cup final, because coming into that game, you were facing an English team who had just destroyed the #1 team in the world in the semi-finals. So can you share with us what the tactics were going into that final? And did you believe that you'd win it as easily as you did?
Yeah, firstly, I think we were definitely the underdogs going up into that final. The way England just beat New Zealand in that semi-final, they were like as physical as you could be, just tactically smart in the decisions that they've made in that game. But the message was clear for us that whole week. You're just gonna have to be 10 times more physical than what you've been throughout the World Cup. And that was a message from the coaches. That was the belief within the group. And for us, at the same time, as the message we got from the coaches, we played for something much more bigger than ourselves, than just the jersey. We played for the 57 million people back in South Africa, also because of what our country's been going through that time, with all the challenges we've faced, and just to see a country come together throughout the World Cup, and especially in that final, about all the support, all the videos we've received from the supporters and everybody back in South Africa was so exciting. Just the atmosphere. Like at that time, we'd obviously wish you could have been part of that atmosphere as well. But yeah, more of an important job playing in a final and giving it your all and making everybody proud back home. And I'm sure that was, to me, that was the standout messages. Be as physical as you can be, and just try and make everybody as proud as you can be back home too.
How long did the celebrations go on for after that?
It went on since we've won the trophy. To me, honestly, like once we've won it, like it hasn't sunk in as much. For the 2 days we were still left in Japan, but once we touched down in South Africa, like that's when everything kicked in. Like that we've won the World Cup. Like just all the airports, all the places we've traveled to like celebrate with the various provinces within South Africa was unbelievable. I've never seen a country come together as what it did back in 2019. And that's what we want. South Africa, we want the country to be united and as strong as possible. And for us as rugby players, we have a bit of impact because obviously South Africa loves rugby, and for us to go out on the field, we get people to get together on weekends, get to watch and support us as well. So I think we definitely have a massive influence in terms of the way things happens in South Africa, but hopefully we can just strive to do better and inspire so many people as well.
What do you think is going to be the defining factor in the Lions series?
Definitely going to be one of a battle between the teams. It's going to be as physical as it can be. I think discipline is definitely be a key part within the three tests. I think you got players that can kick from all over the field in both teams, and that can definitely punish you. So I would say a bit of physicality, a bit of discipline, and I think whoever is willing to give it the all and wants it the most on the day will definitely pull this one through. I'm just looking forward to all three tests. Hopefully we can get the win in the first one and the second one to make it easier for us in the last test. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, on that note, we will not take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for coming on today. And best of luck with the upcoming series.
Yeah, thank you, Christina, Jamie, and everybody on RugbyPass. Thanks for having me, and look forward to hopefully chatting to you guys in the near future too. All the best to you guys, and God bless you all.
Mate, thanks, mate. Thanks so much for coming on. No drop goals, 79th minute, third test, mate.
Oh,
please.
God. He'll do it, won't he? You will.
I know. I've challenged him.
Just like that, man, and see how it goes.
If you do a drop goal in one of the games, I'm sure Jamie will shout to your breakfast the next time he sees you.
I promise. That's a promise, mate. That's a promise. In Cape Town. In Cape Town.
I'll hold you to that, Jamie.
Your favourite restaurant in Cape Town, mate.
Also, my brother. No, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mate, very best, pal. Go well. Cheers, bro.
Yes, bye.
Before we go, we do have to talk about the Premiership final on Saturday, because now, of all the rugby over the weekend, they really did save the best for last. It was Exeter v Quins. I think most people had Exeter to win beforehand, but the Harlequins performance. Like, Jamie, were you surprised that they had that in them?
No, I haven't watched the semi-final. Look, my heart, before the final, my heart said Quins, but my head certainly said Exeter. Just the fact that they were more experienced in finals. I think that, in sport, often what you find is, teams that haven't been in finals, they might lose one, and then over the next few seasons, they go on and win one. But I think the great thing with Harlequins is that they showed, the one stat that amazes me is that Quins had the worst defence in the league this year. They're the worst defence. They conceded the most tries, I think, in the league. But they've gone and scored, I think, joint second or third most tries. And they've just gone an all-out attack. They just play. They just play what they see. They're physical. They're very strong at set piece. I love the impact we've been chatting to Cheslin about the Springboks. I love the impact their South African players have had at the club. Wilco Lowe has been unsung hero, really. Certainly in the scrum, working under someone like Adam Jones, he would have loved that. And he's been immense. And, someone who's got banned then for the last month, really, Andre Esterhuizen. I'm amazed he's not in the box squad. I rate him. I think he's a top player. And the way South Africa want to play the game as well. He was immense in the final on Saturday and has been a huge part of the resurgence this season. And then you've got the young guns, Marchant, Marcus Smith, James Lang, Caden Murley, Tyrone Green, without even mentioning Lewis Liner. These lads have got pace to burn, and they just look like they're playing down the park with their mates. They're playing with a smile on their face, and I love that about Quins. I played at Quins for 3 years. They always talked about Quins style, and they always referred back to their Premiership victory near a decade ago. With Danny Kerr, Marler, Collier, Joe Gray, these lads who were the foundation of that group, Mike Brown being another. They always talked about the Quins style and wanting to play with tempo, play with flair, offload, and play what you see. it's nice now for them. They don't have that reference point anymore. That reference point now is what happened last weekend. And, for those lads to have done that twice, must be a special feeling. I think 9 years apart, winning 2 premierships. And I couldn't be proud of the lads. I thought they were fantastic. Wonderful final. But Quins won it in a way I think all rugby fans want finals to be won.
Oh, it was amazing. It really was the best game of the weekend. Now, do you think that, does it make this achievement even more special, knowing that Quins haven't actually had a head coach since the new year and have kind of been, coaching themselves?
Well, they haven't been coaching themselves. I think the way they play and the way they approach the game, you have to give a lot of credit to the coaching group for that. There was disruption. Obviously, Paul Gersard left to go and coach in Italy halfway through a season. And I think most fans would probably assume that Quins would, maybe just survive this season, get a head coach in, and then go for it next year. But it seems all the players and coaches have grabbed it by the scruff of the neck. And look, they're a very talented coaching group. Flannery's come in and done an excellent job with the forwards alongside Adam Jones. Certainly Nick Evans, I know Jordan Turner-Hall and Charlie Mulcrone have been involved as well. But Billy Miller actually coached me at Cardiff when I was a young lad. We won a couple of trophies under Billy when he was backs coach. He used to coach Australian Sevens, and then he came to coach us at Cardiff Blues. But he's been in and around that coaching group, very experienced as a coach. And just probably kind of pulling the strings, probably a bit of a DOR role for him, general manager role. But I think among that coaching group, they have so many attributes. And let's not forget the senior players. Danny Kerr has been there and done it. Joe Marler's another one who it looks like with added responsibility, the guy is playing his best rugby. And
what
so
about Marler's interview as well after the game?
Oh, he's a special bloke, isn't he?
Oh,
he's a
amazing.
special guy. He's funny guy. And I love my time playing with Joe at Quins. I just think when your head coach goes, or something like that happens, I think your senior players, Mike Brown is another one I haven't mentioned, probably kind of feel that added weight of responsibility. And I think that has brought out the best in Quins. I think, as I say, just to mention a few, Danny, Joe, Mike, those sorts of lads have probably seen that happen and go, right, boys, this is our ship now. Yes, we have the energy and enthusiasm of youth in our group, and they've got loads of those sorts of lads who are just bringing it every day. But those guys have steered the ship brilliantly alongside some really experienced coaches. So it's been an amazing kind of experiment in coaching structure, isn't it, to see how well they've gone. And who knows, that might provide the footprint for teams moving forward. We'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the approach is now next season, because, they did so well. So...
Yeah, there's a lot of chat around Tabai Matson getting to the club. I'm not sure how much truth is in that, but again, a coach. I've not been coached by him, but attack orientated. Quins have won this season on their attack. There's no doubt about that. They haven't won it on their defence because it's been one of the worst. They've gone out and outscored teams. They've gone out and scored more points than opposition when it's mattered most. That's the game. But some of their attack has been immense. And, I'm delighted to see those lads have been called up to the England squad. And yeah, someone like Alex Dombrandt as well, who's been phenomenal for Quins since coming in. He was a uni player a couple of years ago. I think his nickname's Uni Boy, isn't it, at the club? But he's just an amazing natural ability to pick holes and offload and a great strength to go with it. And he's been rewarded, as is Marcus Smith. Marcus came into Quins as a Brighton College lad. When I was there 2015, 2016, this young lad came in and absolutely carved us all up. All the lads are looking around, who the hell is this kid? And it was Marcus Smith. And I'm delighted, God, how 6 years later, the guy hopefully is going to get his first England cap this summer. It's much deserved. And I think someone like Nick Evans would be hugely proud of Marcus. I know Danny, who plays inside him week in, week out, is hugely proud of him. So hopefully he goes well over the next few months.
Absolutely. And now, just to comment on the league in general, how incredible has the Premiership been this season? It's been non-stop attacking rugby and drama. Is it the best league out there?
I think this season it is. The Premiership has been immense. not just the last few weekends, but it's been, I think it's the rugby neutral. So for the neutral and as rugby players, as rugby fans, you'll watch the Premiership and go, wow, like the rugby is incredible. Certainly the broadcasting is great as well. It just seems to be going from strength to strength, and it's been hugely impressive. Whether, I think you like to think that pressure of jeopardy and relegation kind of drives teams. So, like, I know that they've recently made the announcement around ring fencing and what's going to happen over the next 2 years. I think an extra team comes up next season to make it 14, and then it's closed off for a couple of seasons before promotion and relegation reestablishes itself in 3 years' time. Just when there is no jeopardy, what effect that's going to have is going to be fascinating, and we'll see over the next few seasons whether, once the season is more or less decided, that top 6, top 8, whatever, whether those other games become dead rubber games, because we've all loved, I think, as fans, certainly the fans have loved certainly the fight at the top of the table, but also fight at the bottom of the table.
Absolutely. Yeah. I suppose without the relegation, it kind of becomes a little bit like the Pro 14.
And it's one of the Pro 14's weaknesses. There's no doubt about that. Because there is no jeopardy, well, then teams know they can kind of exist. There's no threat of relegation. So, yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out in the Premiership. And I think most fans are and clubs as well are looking forward to seeing what it's like without that pressure.
Right, that is it from us. Thanks to Cheslin Kolbe and Jamie Roberts, and thanks to you for listening. More offloading next week. Make sure to subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating and review if you can, and don't forget to check us out on YouTube as well. Thanks, guys.